At the end of last season, we saw Aunt Lydia get injured. How has that changed who she is?
Well, physically, it takes a very, very long time to recuperate. She actually gets up way too soon out of that bed. Emotionally, it's a bit of a train wreck on a number of levels, that she missed it, that she didn't clock Emily correctly. And I think she prides herself on saying, I know who's a loose cannon, I know who's not in control, I know who needs to be this and needs to be that. Didn't see it coming. So that's a very powerful reality she has to adjust to. And the other thing is she's scared, which is a very rare thing for her. She doesn't allow fear to rule the day. But now she's not in control of that. It was a trauma, and she nearly died. And so she's operating without that confidence that she always had. And she's not always in control now. She's triggered far more easily than she was in the past. So it's about regaining her balance from her perspective and regaining her strength and letting go of what happened.
Fans have been so eager to get a backstory for your character, and we're finally getting it.
I'm so excited.
Is there anything that you can share to get people even more excited about that?
Well, I'll tell you this, I've known her for 3 years now, and I don't know how else to say it, but those are 8 of the best days of my life. Because you see, it was heartbreaking, honestly, to me, to see where it could have gone for her. Except shame stepped in. So powerful. And humiliation, and all from the past just leapt right in there and said to her, no. And those doors shut, and it was truly heartbreaking. And it was like magic shooting it. Mike Barker directed Beyond. The actress, so wonderful. John Ortiz, no words. The minute I met him, as if I'd known him all my life, and a potential for relationship is part of the story. It was beautiful, truly beautiful, the experience. I haven't seen it.
So your character, Janine, is in many ways the ultimate survivor of Gilead. Whatever gets thrown at her, she somehow makes it way through. What do you think is about her that she is always able to make it through?
One of the through lines for Janine that keeps her alive really is Charlotte, and the opportunity to see Charlotte again. I think she had a moment of weakness in the first season, but I think with Janine is a fighter. She is fire. She is perseverance, and it's just it doesn't always look the same for everyone. It's not putting on a strong face and just going for it. It sometimes looks like crying and being frightened and needing your friends to pick you up and to save you sometimes. And to me, that Janine is the embodiment of that.
One of those friends who's often able to save her is June.
The literal savior.
Yeah, for some reason.
All the time.
It seems like when no one else can, June's able to reach her. What is it about that relationship, do you think, that June's able to get through to her?
I think in a way, everybody looks at Janine and just is like, she's the crazy one and she's so fragile and we pity her and just like, ew, weirdo. And I think that's how June saw her for a little bit, but I think now June sees her for who she is and sees her as this girl has been through so much and she's still here and she's still willing to fight and she's still willing to be passionate and kind. And I'm speaking for Lizzie, but and I shouldn't, but what I've seen in their relationship and the way it's grown and that I've really appreciated is that although June is constantly saving Janine and constantly just coming into her rescue, she doesn't treat her like the kind of naive child like I think everybody else does in a way. And I think that Janine is a lot more lucid and intelligent than I think a lot of people give her credit for. And I think that June sees that. I think that she sees that Janine is she's an equal. I'm speaking for Lizzie, so you have to ask her that, but I hope she would say the same thing.
In the book, the backstory for Nick, he's sort of ambiguous because the way that it ends, we never really know what he's doing. But by necessity, on the show, we had a little bit less of that. But this season, you get to sort of bring that back in.
Yeah.
How is that for you to get to play that this season, being a little bit more ambiguous with what your motivations are?
Oh, I love that question. In general, in fiction, I like characters who have, shades of grey to them. And I think everybody in The Handmaid's Tale, to a degree, has that complexity. And to get to play somebody who's ambiguous is fun. It is. I mean, I really enjoy playing Nick. I like that he's somebody who people find somewhat opaque. I don't, because I play him, so I feel like he's quite straightforward. But I can understand that through the lens of, everything you're seeing in this show is through June's eyes. And his actions aren't always sort of consistent with a good person. So I think it's interesting.
We get to see him separated from the Waterford household really for the first time. What was that like for you to have to play him going off on his own?
It's a weird thing where real life overlaps with fiction in the sense that, for 2 years we've been shooting in one location in this house, and I live with these people. I mean, we shoot the show for a long time. So my day to day, I'm going to this house with the Waterfords, and I have my apartment above the garage, and I have my car, and I look after these things, and I develop a physical relationship with where I sleep and where I drive. And suddenly those things were taken away. I mean, it was genuinely strange when I moved out of my apartment. And I moved out of my apartment. I was like, I need to take these things with me, and these are going to come. And I had to say goodbye to my car, which I've been, very attached to. I even don't wear the same clothes anymore. And it felt like there was no acting required. It was actually quite a strange thing. I've never played a character for this long, not even close. And and also Nick is not massively far away from me. So it all became very blurry, I think, in a really kind of interesting way. Not something I've experienced before.